Hello everybody, this is the notes for Algebra 2 Trig, section 3.5. It's called linear programming. It is basically the same thing that we've been doing, just with an extra step at the end. You're doing the system of inequalities, but you have this extra equation. And what you're going to try to do is either maximize it or minimize it. And so it just adds that extra step to graphing the system of inequalities, getting that feasible region, but then you're going to do some extra stuff. So let's take a look at it. All right. So linear programming is used to find optimal solutions to a situation. So maybe you want to maximize profit, maybe you want to minimize cost, that kind of thing. That's an optimal solution. It's going to just do what you want it to do. Linear program problems have these three things. There is constraints, feasible region. The constraints are your inequalities, the system of inequalities. The feasible region is the solution to those constraints. And then you have this objective function. That's what you're going to use to try to maximize or minimize whatever the problem calls for. Now, to get the maximum or the minimum of that objective function, you have this thing called a corner point principle. Basically, what it says is the maximum or the minimum, depending on what you're looking for, are going to happen at one of the vertices of the feasible region. Okay, copy that down. It's very important. The idea of what we're looking at, well, I guess just go ahead and hit pause, copy down this summary. This is the steps that you're going to be doing for these problems. And then I'll talk about what I just said. So, what you're going to do, first step is write a system of inequalities. Step one, okay? Basically, the story problems. You're getting your equations. Step two is write the objective function that's going to be maximized or minimized. So somewhere in the equation, it's going to say the profit is this or that, the cost is this or that. So you're coming up with that equation. Step two. All right, then it says find the coordinates of the vertices of the feasible region. So this corner point principle says the maximum or minimum is going to happen at one of the vertices of the feasible region. So you got this system of inequalities that you got in step one. Okay, when you graph it, you get to this space. Inside of here, this is your feasible region. Okay, what you're going to do is get the vertices of it, the corners, this point, this point, this point, this point. That corner point principle says the maximum or minimum, whatever it is you're looking for, this optimization function, the answer is going to be at one of these points. So in this problem, there's 4 points that you're going to test. And so if this equation here is a profit, you want to plug in each of these points individually, and whichever one gives you the most profit. That would be your answer, that one point that maximized that profit. If you had an equation for cost, you'd want to plug in those 4 points and get the lowest value. That's the idea of these optimizations. Okay, and that would be step 4, evaluate that objective function. So that is the idea. Let's do a story problem. I'll do that in the second video. It's going to take a little bit of time.